Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia, and today I'm going to talk about something that's a bit kind of negative, unfortunately, and that is people that are coming to Russia under the whole new decree of being able to come to Russia and apply for residency immediately, but then getting here, having no idea what they're doing and ending up broke and in dire circumstances. Almost got killed by a car then. And then at the same time me stopping doing the free phone calls because these people have completely burned me out. I've just I've had enough of trying to help people for free. There's a saying that somebody told me, and that is that, well, a couple of sayings: no good deed goes unpunished, and people do not value what they get for free. And because of these two sayings and, well, the reality that has proved to be true by me going out and trying to help people, trying to give advice, and most of the time just being kicked in the teeth for it, I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. But to start with, I'd like to say, if you're watching this video for the first time and you want to know about real life in Russia from somebody who isn't scared to just tell you the truth about the good and the bad of the reality of living in Russia for over 20 years, then consider subscribing to this channel, because for some reason I'm not on either side of the fence. I'm not ridiculously everything in Russia is amazing, and so I'm not kind of satisfying the real pro-Russian people enough for them to subscribe, and I'm not, oh, the West is so bad, in every video. And so yeah, I'm not either way. I'm not pro-Russia or against Russia. Obviously I do love Russia. I've lived here for 20 years, and my goal is just to show the reality to you guys, because we make content for you so that you can see genuinely what it's like to live here. If you're a regular to my channel, then you might recognize this road, a mixture of new and old houses. And like this one, it's pretty huge, in fact, isn't it? So at the moment I'm walking down this road here because, also, if you're a regular of my channel, oh wow, I'm dying for a poo as well. That's going to save me. That video might do well on YouTube, eh? Englishman takes poo in Russian village. It's got a ring to it, hasn't it? But I am walking down this road because I can cut across some fields around this corner and get to the garage where, of course, my car is being fixed yet again. What do you think of this bad boy? And look, here's the sign. Have a guess what it says. No Russians allowed to compete in the guessing competition. Look at the size of this wall. The wall would make you think there's a massive mansion behind it, and while the house is kind of okay, the wall and the house are kind of at odds a little bit. So if you've been watching my channel, one thing you'll recognize that I really love to do is to give. I love to give, I love to help, I love to be of service to people. But sometimes that service can really kind of just be slapped back in your face, right? That free goodwill that you do to people, you give to people, can really be just thrown back in your face, and it's horrible when that happens. Look at this house here. It's a very big house, but it looks absolutely awful. Quite a few times I think perhaps to come here, try and speak to the owner and see if we can paint his house for him for free. What do you think? It's obviously a big house, right? But obviously as well, the person doesn't have any money to do it, otherwise they'd do it. What do you think? Would that be a project you'd like to get involved in to make it, you know, get back to its former glory? Opposite, we've got a very simple house with a Soviet flag hanging up there from the garage. So this is my walk. As you can see over there in the distance, we've got metro and that white kind of grey building, if you can make it out next to it, that is where my car is being serviced. So it's pretty windy today. I'm hoping that I can film as I walk across this field and it's not gonna destroy the sound quality of the video. First of all, I should start by saying that some of the people that I've helped through the phone calls that I've been taking on Mondays, and I've taken over 200 free phone calls from people who are thinking of moving to Russia, and I'd say about 10% of those people have been really amazing people. I feel that they kind of know what they want, they know why they want to come to Russia, they've got a specific goal in mind, they've allocated the funds towards that goal, they know exactly what they want, exactly what they're coming here to do, and a lot of them have already come here and they're successful. But at the same time, there's a huge percent of people that are speaking to me that really probably had no clue about Russia, Russian life, never were really interested in Russia at all until they started watching some of the YouTube channels of the foreigners that have come to Russia, and they think, wow, life's really amazing there, really easy, everything is really great, I'm going to move to Russia. And of course they watch my channel and I have the service of the free phone calls, and so people will jump on the call with me and they'll inquire with regards to coming to Russia, but they won't really have any kind of plan. It's more a case of they don't like where they are now and so they want to get out. But unfortunately, a lot of these people then come to Russia and they have problems because they don't really have any kind of plan when they get here. And so it's kind of like, well, now I'm in Russia, what do I do next? And then slowly the money, the funds they've got run out, and a lot of them actually contact me and say, Sam, I'm in a really bad situation, this is where we are, this is what's happened to us, can you try and do a fundraiser for us on your channel? And I'm like, no. You know, I've done fundraisers for people in the past, and I'm actually gonna do another fundraiser for somebody else pretty soon because of their situation. And the only reason I'm doing it is because, well, they're a big family and they've really, you know, gotten themselves into a pretty horrible situation here in Russia. But a lot of people, they just end up in this situation. They either get scammed, they put their money into something that doesn't work out, they trust people too much, and it just all goes pear-shaped. And I'm seeing this so often. In fact, not only have I become the person that kind of gives people free advice, but I also seem to be the person that they call when they're in Russia and they need more help because they've got into even more of a situation than they were in to start with. But because I've been doing everything for free, most of the people will take as much free help as possible, and then they'll either throw that back in my face, or they'll, you know, just expect more and more and more and more, to the point where I have to say, look, you know, I can't do it anymore. I can't just keep doing this. And it kind of pushes my boundaries every time. Now, the kind of people that I've had on the calls, as I said, I've had about 10% of people that have been really good. A lot of them have really appreciated the value that I provided in calls that can last an hour and a half, where I provide all the information they need to come to Russia and apply for residency, get a job, join schools, buy housing, anything they need information on. I provided all of that help for free. And a lot of people have said thank you and given donations to my channel, which has been really nice. They've written to me afterwards and say, I really appreciate all the help you've provided for us. But a lot of the people just ask and ask and ask and ask. And some of the calls, I mean, you can't imagine some of the calls. Some of the people have been absolutely crazy. I get the feeling that a lot of the people that call me are just lonely. They just want someone to speak to about anything. They're not perhaps even interested in coming to Russia. They just want to chat about life. Like, they'll start speaking to me and say, look, Sam, this call's going to be more beneficial for you than for me. And then they start talking about world politics and stuff, and I say, look, I really understand that, and that's great, thank you for sharing your opinion on world politics, but do you need any help with Russia? And they're like, look, Sam, just keep quiet, I'm going to tell you what I think about things. And I'm like, blimey, what is this? It's just a bit insane. But what I found is the majority of the people that are calling me because they've already had calls with lawyers, and they've already gone through the whole immigration process with a lawyer who said they're going to charge them $1.5 grand to help them with the immigration process. And they think, well, I don't want to do that, I don't want to pay that $1.5 grand, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Sam, because Sam's phone calls are free and I can, you know, ask him as many questions as I want and I don't have to give anything in return. And so a lot of these people, well, they'll call me, they'll get all the information they need, but then when they come to Russia, they find it difficult. And I'm keen to point out that while you can use a lawyer and everything will be paid for and the lawyer will help you, either way you're still going to have to do the work. But if you do it completely without a lawyer, then you're on your own, and there's going to be times it's going to be frustrating. The difference between having a lawyer and helping you to move to Russia, to find an apartment, to register you, to help you with your SIM card, to help you open a bank account, to help you to submit your documents for residency, to help you find a job potentially. Obviously these things, well, if you're prepared to pay for a lawyer, it's going to be slightly less stressful because you've got the lawyer working with you throughout the process. Whereas if you do it on your own, of course, you're not really going to know what's going on. But a lot of the time, these people have been saying to me, look, Sam, thanks for your help, I've really appreciated it, it's really good, I'm moving to Russia. And then after a couple of weeks in Russia, they reach out to me again and say, Sam, I'm here, I need help, I can't find an apartment on my own, for example, or I can't find a job on my own, is there any way you can help me? And then again, I'm reaching out and helping these people, and a lot of the time they don't turn up when I've arranged for them to meet someone to help them. They've left people waiting, they just completely disappear. It's absolute chaos, and I understand that the reason for this is because they haven't paid anything. You see, people don't want to pay 150,000 rubles for a lawyer to help them with the immigration process. They want to do it for free. But then when they expect more and more help for free, they don't care about not turning up, turning off their phone, not caring about the amount of work that you put in when you're helping them for free, because they're like, doesn't make any, it's no cost to me if I act like a horrible person and just disappear when someone else has done all the work. So I had one person not long ago that was in Russia, and they said, Sam, I really can't get this SIM card thing done, I don't know how it's done, it's really difficult. And I said, well look, you can pay a lawyer, most lawyers will charge maybe 10 or 20,000 rubles and go and do it all for you, right, help you to do the whole thing. So if I was you, I'd call the lawyer and they'd be like, well, the thing is, I really can't afford to pay that 20,000 rubles. It's a lot of money, and 20,000 rubles, what about $200, right? So I'm like, well, it's not that much. You know, you've moved to a new country, it's something you need to do. Perhaps you should consider paying it. And they're like, no, I really can't afford to pay it. Is there any way you can help me? And so there's me asking one of my friends who lives in Moscow to go and meet this person. Completely for free. The person was just going to charge him a couple of beers when it's all done, right? What happened? Guy goes to meet him, he turns off his phone, he's waiting for 2 hours, I'm calling him, he's not answering, no one's answering. Just changed his mind, I guess. Never got back to me with any messages, anything at all. And I understand why, right? Perhaps he found someone else to help him. Perhaps he didn't need the help anymore. But because it's help, because it's free, the person had no skin in the game. It's not like he then thought, well, I've paid 20,000 rubles to a lawyer, I'm going to turn my bloody phone on. No, he thought, Sam's doing it for free, Sam's arranged it for free, I don't care. I'm just going to keep my phone off, and that's it. Everywhere is very noisy and very windy. I see these cars everywhere at the moment. Look in here, we've got lawnmowers that you sit on. I thought these things only existed in the US. I guess they're needed if someone's got a really big garden, right? I might have to come here and do a video. Megaland. Clothes and shoes from Europe. So this place is called After Dawn, which is like auto house. And the reason is because all the shops inside and the garages, they're all obviously car related. So when it comes to moving to Russia to become a resident, there's really just a few main steps involved. The first one is about preparing the right documents to have in your luggage with you when you come to Russia. Okay, the next one is you go and you apply for your visa. You then come to Russia and there's a certain amount of documents you need to apply for residency here. There's a few things you need to get done while you're in Russia before you can apply. Then there's the opening the bank account, the registering with the government online portal and getting your SIM card for your phone. There's finding a place to live and registering there. And I've made videos about all of these processes, about how difficult it is. But it seems the one that most people are worried about before they come to Russia right now is where are they going to live, because I've made videos about how difficult it is to become registered in Russia. Because this is the thing, loads of people are renting out apartments, but they don't want to rent to foreigners because foreigners need to register where they're staying with the authorities. And because they're doing this, the people that are renting, they can't, you know, kind of hide the fact that they're renting, and therefore they need to pay tax on the income that they get from the foreigner who's officially living at their house. And so I've had lots of foreigners reaching out to me and saying, look, I'm coming to Russia soon, this is the city that I'm coming to, can you help me to find me an apartment? And of course I explained to them that yes, I've started this service, I've negotiated with a real estate company, and basically we've gone through the process of me educating them about how foreigners require registration within 5 days, and therefore they must be registered. But of course, as I've said already, most of the owners of apartments do not want to register foreigners. And so I've explained this process, and so when someone says, look, I'm moving to X town, can you help me to find a house? This is my budget, this is what I'm able to pay, this is where I'd like to live. And I say, okay, I take that information, I give it to the real estate agent. The real estate agent then goes through all of the apartments in that area, and only about 10% of the owners agree to register a foreigner. And so there's been quite a few examples in this last month where the foreigners arrived in Russia. I've contacted the real estate agent, they've searched through maybe 250, 300 adverts, contacted every single owner of these apartments to inquire if they'll register a foreigner. They've then gone and shown all of the apartments to the foreigner, and then the foreigner's just disappeared. After a couple of weeks, no more answering the phone. And they've put in a hell of a lot of work to do this, to organize, to help them. It's ruining my relationships with people, because I'm saying I'm trying to help these people that are moving to Russia to solve this problem of finding an apartment where they can officially register. But then the real estate agent goes and does all of the work for them, and then they disappear and stop answering the phone. So I had 2 people in the last couple of weeks just completely stopped answering the phone after they've been shown multiple apartments. I had another person who got shown 25 apartments and then decided he didn't want to work with that agency anymore. And then I had another person who just stopped answering the phone and then kind of answered the phone and then went back to saying yes. And you know, they've all been shown lots and lots of apartments. The real estate agent's done loads and loads of work, and none of them have rented any of the apartments. And obviously they don't care, because they've paid nothing, right? They've paid nothing at all to these real estate agents whatsoever. These real estate agents have, out of the goodness of their heart, obviously they're expecting a commission when they do rent the apartment out, right? That's how agencies work. But I've got no skin in the game whatsoever. I make nothing at all. I've just organized this system in order to help foreigners that are coming here, and all of them, I've basically said, up yours. You've done loads to help me, don't care, and that's it, just moved on. And so now it's got to the stage where if anybody else wants to come to Russia, they're gonna want me to find them an apartment, right? They're gonna want me to contact real estate agencies, they're gonna want real estate agents to contact all these houses, contact all the owners on their behalf, find out which ones are suitable, then go and show them all these houses. Well, I'll tell you what, these real estate agents are not going to do that until the person signs some sort of contract and pays some sort of advance, because otherwise it's just free help from me, free help from the real estate agent, and the foreigner just turns around and basically says, up yours, and turns the phone off and no longer communicates with them. Going down into the dungeon of the garage. Hopefully my car's ready. Should be going to a concert tonight out of town. I've already arranged it and they promised me my car would be ready, so let's hope that it is ready. And I can see that she's still on the thing being looked at. So one thing I don't get is how it's going to drive with these chessboards on it. I could do with one of these on my toilet, look. How often do you get to see this? The inner workings of a garage in the Vladimir region. So while I'm waiting for my car, I thought I'd just walk around and see what's going on. These rooms look like places of death, don't they? Pretty horrible. Check out this thing. This is like Knight Rider. That's mad. This is the Russian version of Knight Rider. I wonder what it'd be called. It wouldn't be called Kit, would it? It'd be called, I don't know, Deem, or I don't know. What name would you give the Russian Knight Rider? Let me know in the comments. And so because of all of this, I'm literally burnt out. I'm burnt out of doing phone calls with people that just ask me crazy stuff, and I'm burnt out with helping people when they get here. And one of the crazy things, this is one crazy thing, right? A lot of YouTubers will be extremely, I don't know, everything is amazing in their lives on YouTube, but then when they reach out to me, they ask me how to solve problems that they're too scared to talk about on their YouTube channels, which is really weird, right? Because on their YouTube channels they're like, oh yeah, come to Russia, Russia's amazing. I understand, perhaps they're selling some sort of service, selling some sort of lawyer package, so they want people to move and they want people to think that life is completely without problems, right? But it's a bit of a double standard, right? To have issues with something that you need me to try and resolve for you, but at the same time to make videos pretending that everything is amazing on every day, and you know, reach out to buy the lawyer package. I wish I could just think of some of the ridiculous things that people have said on phone calls to me without kind of offending them, because a lot of them will watch my videos and they'll watch this video and they'll think, oh, why is Sam, you know, slagging me off to the whole world, right? But some people have just asked weird things, like one guy said to me, Sam, I want to open a cafe in Vladimir, how much would it cost? And I'm like, right, well, how much would it cost to open a cafe where you are now? They're like, well, I couldn't say, there's loads of costs. I'm like, right, so isn't that the same in Russia, right? Okay. And then a week later he'll write to me and say, so I've decided I want to open a petrol station, how much would it cost? I'm like, are you insane? You know, and then they'll constantly book phone calls and ask me questions like this, which are just ridiculously stupid. Just ridiculously stupid. The amount of people that just come out with this crazy stuff, and then obviously they wonder why when they come to Russia they're all over the place and they're in diabolical situations. So from now on, if you want to book a phone call with me, you've got to donate to my channel. If you donate to my channel, then I'll take the phone call with you. And the reason I'm saying that is because you can talk as much crap as you want for that time where you're on the phone with me. If you've got skin in the game, then you're likely to, you know, use me as a good resource. The same goes to if you want me to help you to find an apartment, you need to sign a contract with the real estate agent who is going to find an apartment for you, so that they don't waste their time searching through hundreds of apartments for rent, and then you just leave them hanging. You're going to have to sign a contract with them, pay a little bit of the advance towards the amount that you're going to pay for the house up front, so that you don't just waste their time and my time, because I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to do these things for you so that you can resolve problems that you're going to face in Russia. And I'm doing it all for free, but I'm not going to make it so that it ruins my relationship with real estate agents and people that I know that are helping me, because obviously I'm bringing them clients, but at the same time, you know, they're doing all their work and they're spending hours and hours going through all these, traveling around the town, showing you these apartments. There's no way in the world that they're going to do it now, from now on. Lesson learned, right? You can mess me around, but you're not going to mess them around. So you're going to have to sign a contract and pay some sort of advance. And if you're not willing to do that, then you don't want to rent an apartment anyway, and you're just talking BS, and you're just wasting everyone's time. And then finally, when it comes to whether or not you should come to Russia, have a real think about if you want to come here or not. Have a plan. Have a plan that you can put into action when you arrive, because if you don't, then the chances are you're going to be all over the place. You can come to Russia, you can become a resident, but you've got to have some sort of idea as to what you're going to do when you get here. Otherwise, you're going to run out of money. You're going to call people like me, who out of their own goodwill is going to try and help you to resolve your problems, and then you're just going to kick me to the curb when you don't need me anymore, after I've, you know, gone out of my way to help you. And so I'm sorry that this video has turned negative, but I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I've had enough of it. So that is the new rules for me helping people who want to move to Russia. I'm happy to help you, but you've got to have some skin in the game. Otherwise you're just going to take advantage of me, take advantage of the other people that are here trying to help you, because at the end of the day, the reason you're coming to me and the reason you're asking me for help is not only because I know all about Russia, it's because you don't want to pay for a lawyer. You don't want to pay the 150,000 rubles per person that the lawyers charge, and so you're coming to me because you think if I go to Sam can tell me how to do it all for free. But yes, I'm prepared to tell you how to go and do all the things you need to do, but I'm not prepared to arrange for services for people to help people, you know, on such a level that no one else would ever do, and then just get a kick in the teeth for it. So who knows what this says? I'll translate it for you. Subscribe to Sam's channel and to the channel called The Plastic Russian, and then you have to read it this way. It says also Traveling with Russell's channel and Expat Americans. Sign up for these channels and you'll get good luck. At least I think that's what it says. I can't be 100% sure. Just trust me on that. But go and subscribe to my channel. Go and subscribe to Traveling with Russell, Expat American, The Plastic Russian, and there's probably some more you should subscribe to as well, but I just can't think of them offhand. Okay, I'll see you in the next video, which should be a bit more pleasant.